This is Joycey.
And Blake.
And welcome to Savagely Scaled.
This is horrible.
It's been technical difficulties, y'all.
I'm like sweating because I'm just irritated with machinery.
Yes.
I hate doing it. So
yeah, we need to figure out a solution for this.
Yeah. But anyways, we have one. Anyways,
let's go into this episode where we're going to be covering some news stories in the CrossFit world.
Yeah, just some things that like were interesting to us and what's been going on this last week and whatnot, and just some updates for everybody who doesn't know, wanted to know, or didn't even want to know.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I've been very out of the loop when it comes to like the athletes and what's been going on. It's been a lot of focus on, I feel, just, preparing for the games, but I haven't really been, hearing a lot about individual athletes.
It doesn't seem like fun to me. Yeah. Like, I would always be so excited to watch the semifinals and things like that, and I just don't find it fun.
It's a weird
year to watch. Yeah.
I think we were just talking about it before we logged in, but we just feel like 2025 is going to be a very interesting year in terms of just outcomes with the games, athletes participating, what's really going to be happening this year. And, so hopefully we can, provide everyone a more inside glimpse on that world and, touch on some topics that we've been kind of looking into. So let's go ahead and get started.
All right.
In today's news, Toomey is one of the top athletes in the CrossFit world, and honestly, one of my favorites. But anyways, in terms of just things that have been going on with her and Proven and her training, very recently it was announced that she's going to go all into HYROX in 2025. So, which was an interesting thing because I told Blake, okay, so she's going to be doing the games and she's going to be doing HYROX that year. So how's that going to work? That's going to be a lot for one person to carry. But I remember, in the article or kind of emphasize that, since the very beginning, Proven has been about, motivating people to become the best version of themselves physically and mentally. And he believes that HYROX is a sport that helps highlight a lot of those goals that he himself shares.
Okay.
And honestly, he also just said it's something that Tia has started to enjoy a lot and being a part of. So he believes that both CrossFit and HYROX can coexist, which I thought was very interesting to say. And he just mentioned, it's up to the coaches to, determine what their athletes' goals are and kind of just adapt to that and determine where their athletes will go. But it seems like this year, Tia Toomey is definitely going to be dedicating herself to HYROX. They have hired elite rookie Joanna, and I apologize if I butcher her last name, Wheatriz. I don't even. I'm horrible, but she's gonna be joining Proven as an athlete and training partner for Tia. They had initially won, I think, the world record in doubles for HYROX in Houston, Texas, not that long ago. So it seems like they're very compatible, which is great. And it seems like, honestly, from what I'm seeing in interviews and Tia's response to HYROX, it seems like something she's really good at and something that she enjoys. So far, it seems like she's doing really great in that field. Yeah. But I'm really interested to know, is she going to be able to hold up with the games if she's delving into this new sport?
Yeah.
And how is that going to work? Because it seems to me, when I hear that, I'm like, that seems like a lot for the body to take. And you're training in like something like running, that can be, I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know what her day-to-day training looks like, but like when we were talking earlier, when we were discussing all these topics, like Tia is an athlete. And so like this is her next athlete thing, because I don't feel like, how many times has she said she's retiring and she comes back? So I feel that she was like, oh, I should retire. And then she never had anything to fall back on. Like we were discussing, I still feel like the men and women in this athletic elite CrossFit world are different standards of how they retire. You look at Matt, he retired, he has a brand, he has a gym, he has things that he has built. I'm not saying Tia hasn't, but you have to look at like Proven. Is Tia just the name? And Shane has built Proven. So that's not going to be her little baby. right? It's not going to be her thing that she's nurturing. That's more of Shane's and all those executives. When you look at that, like, what is it? Matt's wife was never like an elite athlete, right?
Right.
So she didn't have anything in that. Shane was never an elite athlete, right? Or as of right now, you know, with things, he's more of the coach. When you look at those things, like with those two, there's still that male presence of like, he created this stuff. He's doing all this stuff. He did all this, where Tia's still the athlete. Because if you look at, what is it? The daughters, you know, Katrin and, my brain is so pissed off about our
Annie.
Annie. They started building things too when they were like, I'm no longer doing this. We're retiring. I'm not doing this.
The daughter headphones.
Yeah.
I remember.
And so they have the skincare line. They have the menopause, premenopause, the pelvic floor podcast. They are building things and they're doing other, you know, competitions.
It's true.
But they're still building their brand for that. And their husbands or significant others also are not like in that spotlight, and they chose to do it. I don't think their husbands or their significant others are their coaches either.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because that's another dynamic, that if they're the coach, they're building that brand for what they coach, where Shane is. And then you look at Ariel Lohman, right? Her husband's not a big name. Like, she's building a brand, you know, Strong Like Mom, the hair clips, the belt that she did with Tupood. Like, she's also building a different brand for herself. They're building a big, huge gym for themselves as well.
That's right.
You have to look at these things where I feel like these people, like, when it comes time for them to retire, them to go on to the next one, they're setting themselves up with these things. And I feel Tia is just an athlete. Like, she's always going to be an athlete. She's always going to need something
to keep her going.
When we were discussing, like, do you see her coming out with a clothesline? Like how Brooke Wells did that.
She hasn't been really hard on that stuff.
No. Do you see her coming out with hair clips? Do you see her coming out with skincare? Do you see her coming out with anything? In that sort of brand, I just see her being an athlete and being the athlete that a brand asks to support.
Right.
You know, like NoBull or anything that's high up like that. So to me, her smartest thing was going to HYROX. And I just don't want it to be like, well, we've been doing HYROX, so this is why Tia's not really doing well. You know, like those excuses of things.
Yep.
Which we have seen before. So I feel like this is just something that she should get into and kind of like walk away, or like a good happy note. But it's also like, so how many times you go to CrossFit and be like, okay, that was a high that I can end on. Right. Go to the next one. Because so I see the HYROX thing. I don't see her coming back as like a master's or something.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like she's more of an athlete to like, oh, that I've never done that. I want to be the best at that.
Let me jump into that. Right.
I've never done that. I want to be the best at that. So I see
this
her
whole
more
half
of
thing
like,
is kind of like, yeah. I don't know. I think it is going to come in at the end of the day, it's going to impact her game. Like, whether she does not as well at the games or, you know, not as well. I have no idea. But that seems like a lot for a person to do. So
it is like training for two things that are completely different when you look at like an ice or a CrossFitter. Like, that is just a lot of cardio and not heavy movement of things for her.
That's true.
It's just a lot of cardio. I don't think she's suffered in cardio. So I don't know.
But she's working with a partner now, so that's interesting. How well is she going to be with that?
Maybe what she needs.
Maybe
this could be a break from CrossFit,
right? Which part of me is like you said. So then why not just say like, hey, I'm going to focus on this instead of doing both and kind of go all in on one? But I mean,
I feel like she's like, I still need to do that season. Like, I need to complete that season and then go into it. I don't see her like completely just being like, I'm just not going to do it. I did the open and everything. I'm not going to do it. Because of the competitive drive, maybe with her.
Yeah, she is pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
You go, Tia. You go.
Yeah.
Hashtag goals.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Do you want to alternate or do you want me to go with my
We can alternate.
All right, girl. What do you got?
So I have the Alex Gazan and Emily Roth to skip the CrossFit in affiliate semifinals. Right? So like...
What is happening?
We have, if you've been listening, our 20 consistent listeners, we have followers, our consistent listeners. You guys know that I'm not excited for, and I haven't been excited for how this platform for the semifinals has been going on, because it's the top 1% in these events that make it to the 2025 CrossFit Games, right? And I'm not excited for that, but it's the top 11 men, top 11 women in the world will qualify for the CrossFit via the in affiliate semifinals. So it's 11 and 11. The other semifinals, it's been 2 men, 2 women. Some of them that are smaller, it's 1 man, 1 woman. But Alex Gazan and Emily Roth have elected to skip the in affiliate semifinals and will instead focus on the future in-person qualifying event. And Emily Roth did share on her Instagram yesterday or a couple days ago about the photo that captured 1% chance, 99% faith. So she has that, I'm going to do it. But as we remember, she got 3rd in the Mayhem Classics. So she missed it because of that. So just by 5 points, she was out of qualifying for the CrossFit Games because it's the top 2. So you're 3rd place, you don't make it. That's why I don't like it. That's why I like the events that had, the top 5, the top 6, because it was worth watching. If you're watching 12 people, and to me, how horrible is it to be I am 12, I am 9, I'm not making it, but here I am. It's I don't know. And then in affiliate, you're not really with anybody. It's catch-22 in a way, but she is also gearing up for the World Fitness Project.
Yeah, there you
right? Go. So she will not take part in the affiliate semifinals because she's confirmed for the invitation of Oklahoma City from May 16th to 18th. And that's just 1 week after the tour event of the World Fitness Project. So I think that also pushed her to do the in-person one. As for Gazan, though, the Underdogs Athletics athlete, she confirmed with John Young on the Spin podcast that she will forgo the in-affiliate one. Gazan is also part of the WFP, so the World Fitness Project that we just talked about, and will be competing in Indianapolis, Indiana for the event 1 next weekend. It has not yet been confirmed whether Gazan will be at the TFX Invitational the following weekend for that, but I don't know. And this is where we were how does the World Fitness Project play into the semifinals?
Right. And
who's picking what and who's going to where, but both women have received special invitation to compete in the NorCal Classics on June 6th through 8th. The NorCal Classic is the last qualifying event of the season for the in-person. So it's just, how is that going to go through? As you can see, Emily already didn't get to qualify, so she gets to go to a different one to try and qualify. Man. They do say, if you do an in-affiliate and an in-person, let's say I didn't qualify or I qualified at the in-person and I did an in-affiliate, you can only take one of those wins and it would bump somebody. And I'd be why would you want to go to these events if you've already gotten a ticket?
Yeah. That makes no sense.
No, but they were saying that in the rule books, if somebody decided to do that. And I'm because your score would get better. You can't get bumped out.
You don't really get anything out of that. So
yeah, other than being a
participation
D-bag. But yeah, that was the news I got on those two, since we were talking about athletes and qualifying and stuff. What's your next news story?
Speaking of athletes, continuing that conversation, back at the end of April, Gabi Migala is one of the I was gonna say celebrities, but athlete celebrities good. that I follow. But unfortunately, she tore her Achilles. And I think we spoke briefly about this at the 2024 Rogue Invitational in Scotland. And I think it was a third round of a workout that was titled the Dual 4, where athletes had to go up a giant hay bale and complete a 50-foot sled push and finish with, I think it's called 4 Power Star steps is what they mentioned, but she had failed, I think one of the moves, and she also had surgery for the Achilles. Unfortunately, surgery did not go so hot. Which is unfortunate. It led her to another re-tear of her Achilles back in February of this year. And because of that, she's just, very worried that that's going to cause her to not return to the sport, period.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, it's kind of a sad thing to hear. And I know that, as CrossFit athletes, we hear this a lot where people are like, oh, you do CrossFit? You must really get injured. Or, you go to the chiropractic office and they're like, no surprise. Or like you hear about injuries left and right. And then I hear something like this where you're like, oh man, an injury that can impact me forever. Like that's rough. So I feel for her. And right now she's just talking a lot about how she's working through, staying strong, staying positive, staying patient, and all of the mental game that comes with an injury, but it's not looking pretty hot for her. So she's saying at this point, she's not planning to compete anytime soon, but at this point she's just in a journey of healing. But I think it's just, I guess, another reminder to all of us that it's just very important to, take care of ourselves and be mindful of, when to, pause and decide to not do a move that, might possibly hurt you a little bit more. So that impatience can be a very bad idea. So it's just a little reminder, I think, for me too, that I'm kind of going through my injury and actually feeling a whole lot better. And actually yesterday was kind of one of the days where I was like, oh, box jumps, let's go for it. Tried it. And I was like, nope, not ready for that. But again, I think it's a great reminder for everybody to just, listen to their bodies and be patient with it. But it's unfortunate. She's a really good athlete and she's probably not going to compete this year. And that's a bummer.
Yeah. I remember seeing the video when it happened to her at the Rogue Invitationals, and it was rough because it was like a really big, huge box that you had to like get up and over, and that pressure coming down, and you just saw it happening. And
she's a tiny one, right? She's got on the shorter side.
Yeah, sure. I still feel she's taller than both of us, but yeah, for that box, like everybody was short for that box.
Oh yeah.
And that was when they also talked about like, hey, remember when we were talking about safety for athletes and these movements that we say they can't rebound because of the Achilles? And then you guys go ahead and do this. It's like, we want to push these athletes, but if you want them to like also have movements that are not going to hurt them, like in an instance be like, well, they hurt themselves, like they decided to put that
it's
weight on the barbell, they decided to
take that risk
more than we made them because of we did this box thing that we know will cause more injuries and has seen to cause more injuries.
Man. So that's the frustrating factor. Right? We told you guys this. What's happening? I mean, again, 2024 was a heck of a year for CrossFit. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I'm still going into those affiliate semifinals. So, just a few hours ago, when the password is revealed to those competing about the similar to the age group and team semifinals, I can't talk. In previous week, CrossFit has published a list of facts and frequently asked questions regarding the workouts, along with the general questions for these in affiliate semifinals. So when I was reading the ones for the teams, there was a lot about like, hey, this season, we're not going to give you guys a word for one of the things that you have to film, because like when Dave, he had a code word that he had to put that he was doing it that day, things like that. He also was told which one to film, I believe. But I believe Chris filmed them all because it was just like, you can be called on it
better
anytime,
safe than sorry,
and that was similar to like this one. They didn't have like a set one that they needed to film. It was like, you don't have to film any of them, but if we do ask you, like, you need to show proof, then you should film. So then I'm like, CrossFit, just tell them to film all of them.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah.
And
just to avoid anything.
If you guys as affiliates or people are like, well, they didn't ask me about any of them. Oh, well, at least you had the proof. Because the excuse of I don't have the proof, so you're just going to have to take my word for it.
Yeah, that's not going to fly.
Give them the proof. Give them the receipts. Like, that's what this whole world is about right now. Is like, I can do it. I have the proof. Well, they were like, no, but if we deem one of them as it, you need to show it. That's the same with these in-person and affiliate ones for the individuals. They're not deeming that you have to record any. They're not giving you a code word, but it would be in your best knowledge to record it. The other thing that I found very fascinating, so going back to teams, they had like running marks and you had to show proof of the running.
Oh, man.
You had to show proof where it was. And they were like, so can it be on a track? And then we travel back to go to the gym. Like, how do we do this if we don't have an outside rig at a track or have the running, you know? And it was also like, so what if that was the video that they're like, hey, you have to show proof? Because how do you show proof also as a judge? So even without the video, as a judge, how do I make sure that that person tagged the 800 meters? I have a cone there.
Right.
Are they supposed to go past the cone like a line to go past it, right? To me, there's a line. You need to go past that line, like how we do our shuttle sprints.
Right.
You know, that marks 800. You go back. Do you have a person out there to radio you? Hey, they got it. How do we know that they really got it?
Like Coach Jason.
Remember?
You know? Yeah. Him in the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
We're like, how are they going to check? Yeah. And then you just see Coach Jason with the flags there. And I was like, okay. That makes sense.
How do you know that that's what they're doing? And then videoing it. What if they're like, we need that as a video?
That's a tricky one there.
So how are you going to video that? And it was like Hiller put stuff on there too. Like there was a team that showed their squats and they did not hit below parallel, some of them, but yet they got the highest score for that.
What? Yeah, see, no, I would not be cool with that.
Right. No. And it's also like, who's reviewing the videos? You know, if apparently it's just the ones that we can just do whatever and say, these videos are good. Is CrossFit really sitting down and being like, even though, you know, that had a high percentage of a passing video, does somebody need to watch it? I get like having the high percentage of not passing. You do need to make sure, but I'm just like, we shouldn't have that pass fail rate because my below parallel sometimes is different than other people.
Yep. That's a good point, yeah.
So it's just doing that. So then they went into individuals. There's a lot of frequently asked questions about that, especially since they're talking about Jason Hopper's lunges because with the barbell, which we'll get dumbbells, which we'll get into about that. But okay, so we'll get into like the workouts and the questions. And it was like their setup and they were asking about like, hey, if there's a barbell and a rack, can they be placed parallel to a handstand walk? Yes, as long as the rack is in the required distance from the rings. The start and end lines for the handstand walk must be obscured from view on the camera. So it's like, can the back squat be performed with the rack in front of the handstand walk course then viewed on camera? Yes, as long as the start and the end lines of the handstand walk are not obscured from view on camera. So it's just saying like, yeah, you can do these things. Setup can be put this way or that way, which is nice because, you know, like sometimes they're like, no, the setup is only this. So, also, I did not know this. Like if you don't have the proper weight for dumbbells, you can add weight to it by attaching weights to the side of the dumbbells. Yeah. I was like, that's doable.
That's like the old school.
Right? And they're like, yeah, you can do that. You can attach to the dumbbells. Any modified dumbbell must be weighed on camera at the beginning of the video. And I'm like, So then they were talking about, this is what happened with Hopper. They were saying like with his overhead, it's 2 dumbbells. And you know how your overhead goes? Yeah. Well, they were saying, can the dumbbell heads be put together? Like, can you
like clink on the top or?
Yeah. Can you somehow put your hands together and hold them both? Like
okay.
Here.
Yeah.
And they said, no, they can accidentally touch, but you cannot hold them together. And they're saying Jason Hopper
did that.
It sometimes shows like, it looks like he's holding both of them overhead. So I don't know who's going to review that video.
Yeah. That's a tricky one. I'm like, oh man.
Yeah. Then you have the heavy Isabel. It's 30 heavy snatches. No questions were asked for that because it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, it's a snatch.
Can an athlete skip rounds? That was a question. And I was like, what? For workout form. Like, why would you skip rounds?
I'm like, what?
No, athletes must complete 10 shuttle runs, 10 clean and jerks, and at least 1 burpee in each round to advance to the next round. So with that one, I think it was just like, if you hit the time, like, you have to do something. And I know sometimes, like, when you're in class where I'm like, hey, if you have to skip around and take a breath, yeah, those are for us average people, guys.
Yep. Amen.
It does say if my affiliate does not have a rope, can I complete the workout at a different affiliate in good standing? Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
I feel like with that one, with the teams ones, they were just like you have to be in everybody has to be working out in this affiliate. Like the affiliate has to be in good standing. The judges have to be in good standing. And there was some cases where the judges were not in good standing with their level 1s. Damn. And yet they judged and things like that.
What is that?
Because you have to have that, like, for the elite. Yeah. I'm like, you guys.
I know. That's not.
Yeah.
No.
It's just. Okay, so this was the backfill. It says, can you explain the backfill process between the in-affiliate semifinals and the in-person qualifying events? So qualification for the games occurs chronologically. CrossFit will use May 19th, 2025 as the closing date for individual semifinals. Right? So that's the closing date, May 19th. And an athlete who finishes in a qualifying position at the French Throwdown, so May 9th to 11th, or fittest experience, May 16th to the 18th, will earn a spot to the games. If that affiliate also finishes in an in-qualifying position in the in-affiliate semifinals, their position will be given to the next in line on the in-affiliate semifinals leaderboard. And I'm like, okay, so if you go to these ones and get a position, but you also finish in a qualifying position in affiliate, because I think the in affiliates are before it, right?
Yeah.
So if I qualify, it doesn't make sense to me. It just makes sense like, I qualified in both.
Yeah, I know how you were explaining it to me. And I'm like, this makes like.
So again,
oh man.
So athletes who have already qualified for the games and who finished the in-affiliate semifinals in a qualifying position will forfeit their position in the next in line on the in-affiliate semifinals leaderboard. And I'm like, but if those happened before, why would you go to the other thing to go qualify then? Let those people
try.
Yeah.
Gosh. Yeah, they were like, you already have a ticket in, so what's
Yeah, I was just like, okay, that's weird. I don't know. But it is. Why
are they changing and making it all confusing?
I know. But they did say like the semifinals leaderboard will be finalized May 19th, which is kind of crazy because like the last day of that competition is May 18th, but they should know everything
by then.
But like to review all the videos, that's, I don't know.
It seems a little rushed, a little snappy, right? A little just.
It does. And
it explains why a lot of athletes are venturing out and they're probably like, what the heck is happening? What is this?
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's a hot mess.
To me, as an athlete, I'd rather go to an in-person, but my percentage of qualifying is way so less.
Yeah.
Than an affiliate.
It's almost like, what's the...
Yeah.
But also, like you said, if you don't make the affiliate, then that's the only other option you have to qualify, right? Is to go to the in-person.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and it's the 1%.
I know.
That's just so sad. As an athlete, I guess I would feel a little discouraged and just be like, well, then at this point, like, chances are really hard to get in, 1.
Yeah.
2, if I fail my affiliate and even fail my in-affiliate, then there's that. It just seems, again, the reason why the World Fitness Project created the World Fitness Project was to give athletes more opportunities to not be chopped off in the 1% or have these instances happen. So, again, I guess it's going to be an interesting year to see how that works and whether WFP is the one who's going to be picking up the slack, and athletes are it already looks like athletes are heading more in that direction. So we'll see, man. But there's still the loyal athletes out there that are like, we're still hitting the games. We're still going to do that. And we'll see how it goes. But that's all kinds of confusing and all kinds of difficult. Like,
yeah,
I already feel so much for the athletes, man.
Yeah. All right. So I have 2 more silly ones.
Okay, that's
or one silly one. And then I'll end on a high note.
Okay, so not the tech issues.
Yeah. One of the silly ones is, to me, this is silly, is Jess and Medeiros parting ways with NoBull for Rad.
Rad. I'm still mad at Rad because I didn't get my Danny Brandon shoes.
Oh, that's right. But they
sold out in like 10 minutes.
So Jess and Medeiros wore NoBull shoes when he won the CrossFit Games in 2021 and 2022. And he and other notable names in CrossFit space like Tia Toomey, Katrin Davidsdottir, Mel O'Brien, and Emerald Lawson wore the face of NoBull for years. But you remember, like, NoBull stepped down.
Yeah.
They no longer. NoBull did shift away from CrossFit. Medeiros has been one of the few remaining sponsored athletes. So I get, like, sponsorships like you do. They tell you, hey, we're having an event. You need to be there. Hey, when you're on the floor, you need to wear this. We're providing everything, right?
True. Yeah.
Well, I guess because people like to be snitches out there, he's been photoed in Rad shoes. And the last several days, you can see when he did Workout Wednesday, published on April 23rd, you can see that he's wearing something different than NoBull. When zooming in, because these people are petty, you can clearly see Rad wave-like outsole wrap and the loop on the heels.
Oh my God,
so you can't even like really see it. Like, I mean, when I look at it's a white shoe. It's not a NoBull shoe.
I can't even tell.
I know it's a white shoe.
Yeah.
But it's,
wow,
and
I can't
know
believe they got the shots and everything.
And I'm like, I know it's not a NoBull.
Oh, wow.
I can see that. But he's working out. Like, why does it matter? And I'm like, I still will wear my comfortable shoes. Like, if somebody provides shoes, and they did that a couple of years, like if we provide shoes and you win and you have Reeboks on, you get $1,000 extra if you get this. And they do get shoes, they get clothes and stuff like that. I don't know how they wear the new shoes, some of them, because I'm like, I need to wear mine
walk them in a little.
And I don't like blisters. So I want to wear my shoes that I'm comfortable in and I can hit these things. And for me, sometimes NoBull is easier to coach in than it is to work out in. Because they're just rough. They're harder for me.
Yeah. I haven't tried Rads though.
So they were even saying like Brent Fikowski shared a reel highlighting some training he did with Medeiros in his garage gym. Again, at the end of the clip, you see Medeiros is not wearing NoBull. He is working out in his gym with a friend.
He's wearing invisible shoes.
Oh my gosh. Like, why does it matter to you guys? He is working out with his friend. You have to, Justin, you need to wear NoBull all the time. All the time. I don't care. Sponsored, sleep in it.
And Spider-Man underwear.
Get a blanket.
He's sponsored.
Is like
that's a little ridiculous.
And look at this picture.
What the heck is that? I don't even know what I'm looking at. Oh, his shoe upside down.
I'd be like, Justin, whoever your friend is taking these pictures, you need to talk to them.
What the heck? That's so weird.
I'd be like, yo, buddy, like, did you get money for those pictures?
My face is over here.
Yeah.
That is a little silly.
It is. And it's just like, he still on the list for NoBull's page of sponsored athletes. And I'm like, yeah, for the events that he has to go to for NoBull, for the competitions that NoBull is part of. Like, yeah, I get that part. And his home gym, like, F you guys.
Yeah. Like, if anything, like, oh, God. I could be barefoot. I could be wearing sandals. I could be wearing whatever.
And they're like, oh my gosh, so maybe he's going to be joining Rad. Okay, good for Rad. Like, good for that, because Daniel Brannon, Noah Olson, and Trista Smith are, but leave these people, leave Brittany alone.
I know. Next thing you know, he's going to be wearing some Jimmy shoes and, you know.
Right? I'm like, he's in his home gym.
He's like Regina George. He's going to buy the army pants and flip flops, and then everyone else can
army
pants and flip flops.
He's in his home gym, and I'm just like, you guys are
stalkers
horrible.
Much,
right?
Stalkers much.
I would love any of you guys to then be at his home gym and be like, oh, so you're not with NoBull anymore? Good job on your workout. Thank you for inviting me here.
I didn't invite you.
Yeah. Like, that's why I'm ratting you out.
I bet you it's a drone. Like, she's got a little drone.
Like, that flies by my shoe. Why does it keep sounding like
click, click, click? And it just zooms off. I wouldn't doubt it, man.
Oh yeah, I was gonna do another story, but it's not really a story. There was where you can sign up, of course, to volunteer.
Because I want to do it.
I signed up to volunteer at WheelWOD, so maybe I'll get picked.
I volunteer as tribute.
Yeah, and Joyce was like, "Did you volunteer to judge?" No, thank you. For the corralling of the athletes, for the check-in, and I put in my thing like, "I'm a good person to check in."
You're so dope.
And I was like, I like learning new tasks. I've checked in
so many competitions that I've performed at my home gym. You should have put some stuff like that.
I was like...
Experience.
Yeah, I did that. We have like home gym events. And I'm really good at helping with that. And like, if you give me a task, I love to complete tasks. So please do that for me too.
Yeah. Take an easy lunch sandwich and chips.
But yeah, I was like, okay, we can
only work with men.
Yeah. That is Joycey. But yes, you guys can go put in to do the adaptive. You could put in for masters and age qualifiers, and also for the CrossFit Games that are in Albany, New York. So, and I was like, I can't go to Albany because WheelWOD's in Vegas.
We could do that.
WheelWOD, I am an hour and a half away.
Hit us up, man.
Hit me up. And it's even nice. Like, they have like a whole week, and you don't have to do all. You could click on the days that you want to do, that you're available. So I'm like, yeah.
That's
so
cool.
I thought that was really cool. But the last thing that I'm going to end on that's, I think, sad but also happy is Cole Sager is retiring after 11 consecutive CrossFit game appearances.
11?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's more like, he said, this is not like a retirement post. It's more of like, I'll see you around post. Because
they all say that.
He said he's retired before. And I'm just like, okay cool.
Tia. Okay,
yeah,
Tia.
He's like the Tia of men. But he did put like, he will no longer be competing as an athlete in the CrossFit Games season. Sager qualified for his first CrossFit Games in 2014. Yep. After winning the Northwest Regional, he would go on to take 17th at the Games that year.
That's crazy.
Over the course of the next 10 years, Sager would end up with the with 3 top 10 finishes at CrossFit Games, including his best finish in 2016, where he took 5th. He's also built a reputation throughout the career as the comeback kid. In multiple regional semifinal events, Sager entered the final day, and in most cases, the final event outside the cut line to qualify for the CrossFit Games. But somehow, he always managed to pull it off. So he was always known as the comeback kid. And for me, like, watching him throughout the years, I was like, bro, we ain't a kid no more.
Still looking good, though.
But he also always looked to... He reminded me of Noah Olson, like in a good mood, cheering people on, pushing people. So the most memorable comebacks were of that 2016, where he entered day 3 in 9th place overall with only 5 spots, earning a bid to, can you zip louder?
I was trying to go sideways. And I'm like, these mics are really good.
Now that they're fixed. It's just like between you and your dog.
he's passed out.
He's so cute.
He's like, I angled him. He should be good. I did not expect that gulp to be. Comment.
She's like, tell me more. Anyways, so he was outside, right? So he could go on to win the final event and secure a 5th place finish to get in. According to the analytics for him, he finished with 13 career event wins, 131 top 10 event finishes, 131, and 2 competition wins in 2014, Northwest Regional, and 2021 West Coast Classics over the course of his career. So over his 11-year stretch for competing, Sager's also experienced plenty of life changes, events off the competition floor. He and his wife, Genesee, got married in 2014 after the first CrossFit Games appearance. In 2021, the couple welcomed their first child into the world, and in late 2023, their second child was born. While Sager finished 96th in the world in the 2025 CrossFit Open, the news of Sager's retirement is likely not to shock too many. Sager took over the elite athlete head coach at CompTrain in June 2023. So at the time, Sager said he will take on the role while still competing at the highest level. After 2 years of the dual role, Sager is hanging on to his NoBulls for good, or hanging up his NoBulls for good. So that's a big, huge role. Yeah. And then you're still trying to compete and you're still trying to do that. So it's just
so much.
It's a lot.
That's fair. He's accomplished so much.
He has. And this is not his first time retiring, but I think with see how he moved into that next role.
Right.
That's where I get kind of confused with Tia Toomey. What is her next role? What is her next thing? And I think it's being an athlete.
Yeah. We talked about it before hopping on.
That's who Tia is. Yep. She had a child, right? So she's mom. So who is Tia? What is Tia? What is going to be her role? With guys, it's completely different. And we talked to, Annie's a mom, so is Ariel. But they're doing things with different brands for themselves. They created brands for themselves.
True.
And so I think Tia's always just going to be an athlete.
That's definitely her thing, and that's what she thrives in, so I don't blame her. But at some point, you're going to get to a point where your body's not the same, so what's the next step? And a lot of the athletes are being very smart in pursuing all these other ventures, so I guess we'll just see what's going to come with Tia. But I'm excited for this 2025 because she's going to be doing a lot, so I'm curious to see how that's going to result too. So
yeah,
that was a lot of news. It
was good news. We haven't done news in forever.
We have not.
I know. We really need this 2025 to really sit down and go over our episodes and really stick with what we want to put in them. I think we're just we want everything.
We do. More gym interviews.
Yeah.
More athlete spotlights.
Yeah.
More news.
More.
And now we're diving into possibly a little bit of murder mysteries.
We're like those ones that they're you need to pick your niche. Well, we're figuring it out. We like everything. And until we have 20,000 followers that pay for our stuff, we can do whatever we want.
That is true. That'd be true.
But on that note,
we got to listen to the fans too. This is what they want also. So we try our best to accommodate that.
Yeah. Well, if you like this podcast, or no, if you feel like this podcast is your
fans,
swig a pre-workout,
please.
Oh, you're not going to swig your water?
Oh, my bad. Oh, wait, okay. I swung it a little bit earlier, but I was boop.
Make sure to follow, hit those 5 stars. Please leave us a review or a comment. It does help, guys. If you go on Apple Podcasts, leave us a review. If you're listening on Spotify, you can leave comments. That helps us too. It makes
Blake's day when she's having tech issues, so
it does.
Send the love.
And any comment, if you want to hear something else, if you have an athlete that you want to spotlight, if you have a gym that you go to that you want to spotlight, if you have some tea on the side that your gym is doing, you're I want to be anonymous, but is this what happens at all kinds of gyms? Please let us know.
We love the tea.
Yep. You can either DM us. Can you DM us on Instagram at Savagely Scaled or email us at Savagely Scaled1. That is the number 1 at gmail.com. But everything helps. I found all of my new stuff on Barbell Spin. If anybody wants to go check that out, deep dive into any of this stuff about the rulings for the affiliate or the teams, who made the teams. There's athletes who are going through illnesses that you could go support. There's also infidelity piles on there. There is up and down. I really like the Barbell Spin right now.
Right.
Where did you get your information?
Morning Chocolate, baby.
And I love them too.
I do too. Yeah.
Because they have Barbend that's connected to them, and Barbend is a great source of information as well.
But yeah, I'd say those are probably the top 2.
Yeah. But yeah, just remember, don't be a Karen, be a Sharon. And keep sharing, and let us know what you guys want to hear next. Let us know if anybody hits a PR. Let us know if your friend does. We can shout them out. Everything. We love to do that as well. Do you have any shout outs this week?
I feel like I haven't really been going hard in class this week, which is because I had some visits. So
yeah,
that's
true.
But I did have I still haven't gotten my my push-up, why am I blanking out on standing push-up?
Standing push-up?
No, what is it? I'm blanking out.
Pull-up?
But you're against the wall, you're doing the
handstand push-up.
Handstand push-up. Why am I failing on that? But I had worked on that this week.
How I am. I don't know.
But I saw Trisha just killing it on those I was like, stand-up push-ups.
Yeah.
On the stand-up push-ups.
I was about to do like a burpee.
I was like, against the wall though, girl. Yeah. Against the wall.
You're standing and you're pushing up. I am no help.
I was like, you got it, though. You got it.
I'm horrible at charades.
This is why we're not good at taboo.
Yeah, I don't know what you're saying to me.
Yeah, you're like, speak. And then Homegirl did a good pass today. We had some drop-ins this weekend, and we switched partners, so she was
There's
a true
people
homie.
From Scotland. There's people from England as well.
We had a good drop-in week.
Yeah, summer usually everybody likes Route 66 and comes by the gym.
Yeah.
I do want to shout out Lindsay Giraldi because so she had 55 for her back squat max. She killed it with a double at 75.
What?
Mm-hmm. So she's got more in the tank. So again, we see you guys, morning crew. If you have anybody to shout out, please let us know because we're not in the morning crew.
Also, the people from the comp, Justin and Brad and Carol and all, they did really good in the comp.
Congratulations, you guys, at the Festivus competition.
Killed it.
Great job.
Freaking killed it.
But until
we meet
at the whiteboard again.
Bye, guys.